Today we're diving deep into an issue that isn't just an environmental crisis, it's a crisis of conscience. Our reliance on petroleum-based plastics is choking our planet and our future. But imagine a world where the packaging you throw away naturally decomposes or can even be eaten. It might sound like science fiction, but it's a future we can create together. Did you know a staggering 8 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans each year? That's the weight of over 800 Eiffel Towers sinking into our precious waters. Think about that for a moment. This information comes directly from the World Economic Forum, and it's a problem that's growing every single day. Robert Swan, an incredible advocate for environmental responsibility, once said, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." We can't afford to be bystanders. We all have a role to play, and that's why today's episode is crucial. We're about to explore revolutionary technologies and materials designed to replace petroleum-based plastics. We'll dive into the magic of mycelium, the potential of corn-based plastics, and the marvels of seaweed. These are game-changing innovations that could redefine our relationship with the material world. Mycelium is the root system of fungi, similar to mushrooms. Picture a dense web of organic fibers weaving together to create a natural, breathable structure. This is more than just mushroom magic, it's a look into a revolutionary, more sustainable world. So how can mycelium serve as a replacement for traditional plastics? First, let's talk about packaging. Imagine receiving your next online order in a box that decomposes naturally in your garden within weeks. No guilt, no waste. Second, mycelium is making its way into the construction industry. Instead of insulating your home with materials that will last 100 years in a landfill, mycelium-based materials can offer the same utility without the environmental burden. Now, every hero has an Achilles heel, and mycelium is no exception. While it offers so many benefits, the production costs are slightly higher compared to plastics. But considering the long-term environmental savings, many argue it's a cost we should be willing to bear. And here's a cool insight for you. Companies like Ecovative Design are already pioneering mycelium technology, turning this fungal solution into a mainstream miracle. They've attracted attention from sustainable-focused investors and even big corporations eager to reduce their carbon footprint. So mycelium isn't just the future, it's the present, unfolding right before our very eyes, challenging us to be better stewards of our planet. Moving on from the world of fungi to the fields of corn, our next eco-friendly marvel is corn-based plastics. Also known as polylactic acid or PLA, imagine walking through a cornfield and knowing that that same corn is going to be transformed into your next to-go container or disposable fork. This isn't just a creative fantasy, this is a burgeoning reality. So how exactly can this maize revolution replace traditional plastics? PLA excels in areas like food packaging and disposable utensils. Think sipping your next iced latte through a corn-based straw or storing leftovers in a container that comes from the same field as your corn on the cob. Let's talk about the advantages. One of the biggest pros of PLA is that it's renewable. Unlike petroleum, corn is a resource we can regrow every year. Additionally, it has a lower carbon footprint, which means choosing corn over petroleum is like taking a small but significant step towards healing our planet. Now, while corn-based plastics have a lot going for them, they're not perfect. One drawback is that they're not suitable for high-temperature applications. So don't think about pouring your boiling soup into a PLA container just yet. Here's some wisdom from a thought leader that perfectly encapsulates the potential of PLA. We are what we repeatedly do. Sustainability, then, is not an act, but a habit. That's a paraphrasing of Aristotle, and it's a mindset we need to adopt when it comes to sustainable alternatives like corn-based plastics. By embracing these biodegradable innovations, we're making sustainability not just an act, but a lifestyle, a collective habit that could reshape the world for the better. Next, we're leaving the cornfields behind and plunging into the ocean for our next plastic replacement hero, seaweed. Yes, you heard that right, seaweed-based plastic is not only real, but it's making serious waves in the world of sustainable materials. So how can this oceanic plant become the plastic of our dreams? Let's start with food wrapping. Imagine wrapping your sandwich in a material that could safely dissolve in the ocean, or get this, even be eaten. That's right, we're talking about an actual snack wrapper you can snack on. And how about water bottles? Would you believe that you could have a water bottle you can eat after a drink? It might sound like an episode of the Jetsons, but companies are working on this as we speak. Now the pros here are as stunning as a coral reef. Seaweed-based plastics are edible, which makes them an exciting option for food-based applications. Plus, they dissolve naturally, so if they do end up in our oceans, they become part of the ecosystem rather than a toxic invader. However, let's surf back to reality for a second. Seaweed-based plastics do have some limitations, primarily in terms of their range of applications. While great for food wrapping and water bottles, they're not quite ready to replace all types of plastics just yet. Here's a cool insight for you. Evoware, a startup based in Indonesia, has already manufactured edible wrappers from seaweed. This isn't a concept for a distant future, it's happening right now, pushing the envelope for what we consider to be plastic. So the next time you're enjoying a day at the beach, just think, the seaweed floating beside you could be our future of plastics. And now, as we're nearing the end of our deep dive into plastic alternatives, let's switch gears for a quickfire round of some other noteworthy substitutes that you should already have on your radar. Ready? First up, hemp. No, not that kind of hemp. We're talking about the fiber of the cannabis plant, which can be used to create a bioplastic that's both strong and lightweight. Plus, it's biodegradable. Now, let's turn the page to recycled paper. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of paper straws, but I do see opportunities that exist within recycled paper packaging. It's already happening, but not often as a replacement for plastic. Moving on to silicone, this synthetic material is not just for baking mats and baby pacifiers. It's heat resistant and reusable, making it a smart choice for kitchenware and even medical applications. Last but not least, let's shine a spotlight on biodegradable resins. These are polymers that break down faster than traditional plastics, offering a temporary fix that could ease our transition to a more sustainable solution. These options prove that the only limit to replacing petroleum-based plastics is our imagination and willingness to adapt. Knowing the options available is just the first step. Here's what you can do to be part of this incredible shift towards a more sustainable future. Be a conscious consumer. Next time you're shopping, keep an eye out for products made from these alternative materials. Your purchase is a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. Hold companies accountable. Let's make corporate responsibility more than just a buzzword. Use social media to ask your favorite brands what they're doing to be more sustainable. Remember, companies listen when their customers speak up. Spread the word. If this video has opened your eyes to the possibilities, share it. Let's make sure this message reaches as many people as possible. Hit that share button, send it to your friends and family, and let's get this conversation going on a global scale. If you want to hear more about what seaweed and hemp might do for our green future, check out my video on how bamboo, algae, seaweed, and hemp can save our world.